The second we had power, they took it away. Wandering soul, I bid you welcome. Are you prepared for a new deal?
So Vanguard is in a really weird place right now, and I just want to talk about the things in it that I like. And currently, Amon is getting a big spotlight on him. Whether you are a V player with the new announcement, or you're a 0 player and are just really excited about having a new way of playing Amon. And the reveal just kind of happened to fall on the week I was going to announce I was doing a Amon drop with Triple Rare, but I decided to kind of hold off on that till this video now, just to kind of give you guys kind of the first sneak peek at it, alongside other spooky Halloween-esque related pieces. What I want to do in this video is I just really want to do a really big breakdown on the new Amon builds, my decisions on building the deck, why I did, and reasons that you can take this and make it your own. With this, I'll be discussing a lot of units, breaking down why I chose them, why I didn't choose them, what I would change, my play pattern experience, and just my overall enjoyment of Amon. So the only new unit we have is the new boss monster. He is Amon's leader, Astaroth. The name is deceiving because technically in the lore, they're like business partners. He obviously legions with Amon. I think this is the first of the wave of having a grade 3 as the mate. Other units up to this point have just been mating with the grade 2s that don't have Vanguard abilities. So that means, since both of them are on a Vanguard circle, both of them are going to be able to activate their abilities in unison with each other. So Astaroth himself says, if you are in Legion, this unit gets a critical for every 10 cards in the soul. This means he is Reijy-esque. He is able to have a total of 2 critical if you only have 10 cards in the soul, which is easier than Reijy. But then to get to the cool 3 crit swings with Reijy, you have to have 20 cards in soul, which is more than Reijy. With this in mind, I decided to kind of build the deck, as you'll see, not as turbo soul chargey as Reijy was. This is more of a tempo-esque soul charge. You can't really say tempo within Vanguard because everything is just like aggro wins, but this is more of just get them to 4, power through, and just repeated swing those double crits, and you'll see that throughout the build. Now with that said, you can have some crazy amount of soul charging turns, with even Astaroth being able to, when your opponent's rearguard is retired due to your card effect, if another Amon is in the center column, which if he's in Legion he will, soul charge 3. We have 2 units that can retire rearguards. Obviously the first one is Amon himself, being able to counterblast 1, pop a unit from a rearguard into the soul, and then Gatling random units in the back row. This in combination with Astaroth is now 4 in the soul and 1 retire. And then the other is Gwyn the Ripper of Counterblast 2. He's nice because then we can pop interceptors, which mean we can go a little more aggressive with him. Besides that, there is no other use of retiring in Dark Irregulars. The rest of our game plan is just to have Astaroth with Amon just swinging repeatedly at the face. As a flex spot in the grade 3 section, I am playing one of the Amon reverses. This is basically here just to be playing like a 5th Astaroth, just to have another unit that can swing with a crit very easily. It is also defensively stronger because if you have an Amon in the soul, you will be at 13k on your opponent's turn. And then the next turn you can rewrite an Astaroth if you would like. But I've never ridden him. This is just theory. I've never drawn him and been like, yeah, I think he's going to be better than Astaroth this turn. So as we'll go on throughout the video, just keep that in the back of your mind of if you have maybe a better unit you can play. And to go alongside Astaroth and these multiple crit swings, we do use Demon Cheer the Witching Hour, not just for the adding to deck, adding more heal triggers, but it's very easy for him to be able to swing with multiple crits as well. So alongside units with like Gwyn, we're able to have turns where we swing at the opponent's Vanguard, multi-critting. Now Dark Irregulars is a big fan of Legion, being able to shuffle or drop back into the deck, because obviously Dark Irregulars has a huge issue with decking out. Now to take advantage of this, we actually play a unit that's Soul Blast, which is kind of a no-no with Dark Irregulars. Imprisoned Fallen Angel has Restraint, and she loses Restraint by Soul Blasting too. Now, Like I said, since we're not turbo soul charging, I don't really care about getting to that 20 soul. As long as we are in that 10 soul, that's all I really care about, and that is super easy to achieve here, which means anything beyond that is just excess. So units like Fallen Angel being able to soul blast units from our drop, and then Astaroth being able to reshuffle those units into our deck is a really like synergistic, powerful thing that Dark Irregulars now has access to. This means if we accidentally soul charge stuff such as PGs, heal triggers, we can now put them back into our deck. Because of this more selective soul charging in a way that the deck can do, units like Dimension Creeper become a lot stronger. Them going into the soul, being able to soul blast themselves out and adding to the drop is another way of reaching the Legion requirement of having 4 cards in the drop. He will typically be our ride target. This does mean we won't be able to soul charge on turn 1, but like I said, again, we're not really caring about the soul charge ramp. That being said, soul charging is still very important. That means we're going to try to play as many free soul charging as we can, such as Hell's Draw, Hell's Deal, and of course the very powerful starter, Fate Collector. Him being able to give us our really only drawing in Dark Irregulars right now. The putting a card from our hand into the soul is a very powerful ability. Being able to put units such as Dimension Creeper, or even having to put a unit like a trigger in our hand into the soul, is going to be a nice little like combo if you have an Imprison in your hand. I am playing 3 of the Psychograve for more soul charging. This uses Counterblast, and we really want to be using that Counterblast for Gwyn and Amon to be able to start like retiring units. But using 1 Psychograve is usually like really consistent within the deck and very easy to pull off. Since this is a Legion based deck and we don't really care about the amount of damage that we have, we can play the old PG. I can see reasons to play the Amon PG, obviously with synergies with the name and being able to get more counterblasts for early game. But since there's so much like crit swinging in Vanguard right now, I do think that the hair is a little bit stronger. Now, the last little flex spot I have in the deck, I'm playing the 10k attacker. I was originally playing Yellow Bolt, but like I said, I never really needed the soul charging. And what the deck kind of runs into, because we don't have any way of like resource gaining like in drawing, there's going to be some turns where you'll just have like a couple PGs in hand and like a grade 1 out, and your opponent will have some back row and 2 interceptors, and you'll be like, I can't get past the interceptors because the Amon can only retire back row, so I can't like pull the grade 1 and start sniping stuff. So that top deck is really important. So I hated top decking another grade 1 and being like, oh well, I guess I put it behind the grade 1, and then it just having the 10k attacker means we can get past another interceptor, and we obviously never want Amon and his crit to ever be swinging at the rear guards. So 10k attacker I think is useful. I have seen some deck lists playing the Fool's Palm. This is the like discard to draw a card. I've never really needed it because our drop usually has enough units in it, but I can understand it for that filtering might be useful. But like I said, I kind of want the pressure that the 10k brings, but I think this is the best replacement if you're going for that. I really wanted to play the grade 2 Witching Hour, being able to have another unit that can swing with multiple crits. I chose against it because the deck doesn't really need another unit to add cards to the deck now, because deck outs aren't really an issue now with Legion. And all the grade 2s that I'm currently playing I think are really important. I could also see reasons to want to switch out like Psychograve for the 12k attacker, this being able to swing at the Vanguard in additional time. I chose against it because I felt like the deck had just enough counterblast to be able to fit a couple Psychograves in, but I could see an argument for being able to play the 12k attacker as like an early game aggression play. I think a unit like Adel Rose would be very useful in the deck, obviously. Being able to reshuffle herself, more triggers, because this reshuffling that the deck can do will hit it a lot more. So it'd be kind of like a Royal Paladin weaker version. But the reason it's so much weaker is because Adel Rose goes and gets a 10k vanilla. Not a cool Gwyn. I don't understand why it gets Werewolf Seeker and not Gwyn. Like, that would have been so... I get, like, lore-wise it's not right, but... this would have been so nice. Something to point out that's kind of a positive for us in a way is that all of these grade 0s going around right now with Seekers and even like some Gold Paladin and stuff like that, is a lot of these grade 0s have resist now. Resist means it cannot be hit by Amon's ability, which is actually a good thing for us, because that means if they only have one other back row unit, Amon's going to be able to start being able to retire the front row units a lot quicker. Anytime you can use Amon to get rid of a grade 2, it's an amazing like use of counterblast. Obviously, like a good Seeker player is going to use its ability as soon as possible, but they're also playing against a Dark Irregular player, so they probably are like underestimating us, so maybe there's some use in that. Just understand when piloting the deck, a lot of it is just going to be a on the spot kind of decision making. Pieces in your hand are important, needing to know what units are going to need boosting. Amon himself is very powerful, but he can't carry the whole clan. The clan has to support him, and sadly Dark Irregulars is not at that point yet. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, like the deck's obviously not tier 1. Like, I think even in the best hands, it hardly reaches like a tier 2 playable kind of section. But with that said, I think someone smarter than me can take this skeleton and do some really powerful things with it. I hope you watching this can look at this and see some adjustments. Understand maybe better ratios. Maybe Fork wins better. Maybe 4 Angels are better. Maybe I'm missing a unit entirely and I'm missing some synergy that could really help the deck out. I have won a surprising amount of games with this deck, and I believe that you will be able to as well. It is not a hard deck to pilot. It just needs some good devotion. If you'd like to support me, hit up Triple Rare. The new drop will be on October 8th, featuring Amon, obviously. This isn't the final design. This is just a little preview of it. If you are already following us, you've already seen one of the other pieces. Maybe 2 by the time this comes out. I still have stuff to do. I never know how to end these. That's all I got.